We are here to bring you the latest from the leading commanders in the crypto space.
And this week, we welcome our guest, Aleksandar Mitrović, CEO of Unique Network.
We also welcome our resident, a constellation excavator, Blake Finucane.
Thank you so much, Asa and Georgie. Hi, Aleksandar. Thank you so much for coming on. And again, for the viewers who don't know, Unique Networks is building an NFT chain for both Kusama and Polkadot. And when we first met, Aleksandar, and you introduced us to the project, everyone at Pluto was so excited because we're really interested in supporting projects that work within the Polkadot ecosystem. Of course, your project emerges at the perfect time because we all know that over the last 6 months, the interest in NFTs, the usage of NFTs, the cost of NFTs has all gone parabolic. And with that, problems have emerged around scalability, cost to transact, which has really revealed that there are certain limitations to the NFT infrastructure as we know it and use it now. And we really feel like Unique presents some really great alternatives to this. So kind of with that, for the viewers at home, a short overview of the project for everyone who's not as familiar with Unique as we are.
Sure. Hello, everybody. I'm Aleksandar, and thank you guys for having me here. It's a pleasure to talk to you always. Unique Network, as you guys have mentioned, is the NFT parachain for the Kusama Polkadot ecosystem. It is basically a blockchain built on Substrate, which is the modular software framework for building blockchains on Polkadot, on Kusama, or as standalone chains, as everyone prefers. We provide that middleware for the NFT use cases. If Kusama and Polkadot are basic infrastructure, they provide shared security, which means mining in simple terms, and a lot of common technology bases to build upon. We provide that functionality for all the possible NFT use cases. And our goal is to use the power and flexibility of Substrate to really raise the bar on innovation in the NFT space and make it kind of make some of those things that people were dreaming about for the last few years, ever since the NFTs were first invented like 5 years ago or something, to make them a reality. So that is our mission.
Working, say, with Polkadot, that allows a lot more flexibility and really allows you to execute that and work within an ecosystem that allows that to happen.
Oh, yes, it does. And
yeah.
here's the reason for it. The biggest cost the blockchain incurs is mining. Okay. In most blockchains, inflation and transaction fees go to miners. In the Polkadot ecosystem, the relay chain, the Polkadot or Kusama themselves take care of mining, and we only need to lease the spots, okay? And we take care of the vast majority of mining costs that way, which leaves us free to design our own economy any way we see fit. Our chain is exclusively devoted to NFT use cases, which allows us our users and the apps on Unique not to have to compete with any other types of applications. So they don't have to worry about decentralized exchanges taking large volumes of transactions or any DeFi applications, et cetera, et cetera. So that is separated right from the start, and have taken that a step further. I think we are the first blockchain in the world, but certainly in the Polkadot ecosystem, that has native support for transaction fee sponsoring by the application. So what I'm talking about here is freemium gaming. Okay, so that is the way gaming market today works. 80-90% of it is in a freemium model, where you need to get user excited about a game before they're willing to pay for it, okay? In blockchain, you cannot have that because you have to pay a transaction fee every time you do something. NBA Top Shots has cleverly disguised that, but they were able to do that only because their first transaction was a big buy transaction. They're just a card game, collectionist game, where the first transaction they encounter is they buy that video. And in what we have managed to do is basically create inside of our NFT palette a solution where with basically several clicks, the creator of the game can say, okay, here I'm giving you this smart contract. This smart contract will pay for every transaction that happens that users make for the next 6 months, for example. And then they can decide when to start monetizing the game and replenish that. Basically, they can have a user play the game for 3 months and then pay for something, and then they use that money to pay for the transaction fees going forward. Or they can kind of choose to get gamers educated about those things and have them pay the transaction fees, or they can kind of buy the bulk of their buy in bulk the tokens and so on. So the idea here is to abstract out the blockchain space completely from the gamer until they're ready to pay. And each game can successfully do that. All they need to do is basically ask the gamer to register, and that is kind of fairly easy these days and can be done in a million different ways. So with that, we remove the friction of that is huge obstacle to the mass market kind of adoption of blockchain gaming.
Yeah. Do you see blockchain gaming as the first kind of vertical that will be using Unique?
I see art and gaming as kind of first two use cases. They are kind of low-hanging fruit. They're kind of already deeply kind of, there's a lot of people doing a lot of stuff on blockchain. A lot of even big companies are experimenting with it and so on. So indeed, I see them as the first use cases to use Unique, and we already have kind of a number of them. We're building on top and doing things that you will see very soon.
Nice, that's very exciting. And also in our initial call, you mentioned, and you mentioned it here too, that you don't necessarily think that NFTs have gone mainstream yet, and that you likened it to, which I really appreciated the analogy where you said that compared to, say, if we're making the analogy to the web, that NFTs right now are in web 1.0 kind of version. So I would love if you could expand on that and explain maybe how Unique Network will also kind of contribute to the development of the kind of web 2.0, 3.0 of NFT version of that.
Sure, thank you. That is definitely our mission, because with NFTs today are geared mostly towards the crypto savvy audience, with just a very few exceptions. What we will enable is that both users and developers do not have to know blockchain. Okay, so we touched a little bit on the user end, where basically people can play games or people can buy art with a credit card and not worry about it and those kinds of things. But then, or people can sign contracts that will become NFTs. Okay, there's many use cases for these things. But then also touching the subject of the other side of the developers in blockchain today, in order to have a game that uses blockchain, for the most part, the developers have to know the blockchain piece. They have to know smart contract language. They have to know all those things. We are taking a lot of steps to abstract out their work with the blockchain, so that any mobile game, for example, should be able to make their in-game items as NFTs, so therefore transferable between the games, sellable and so on. So have a completely new economy without them really having to know anything about blockchain much. Okay, so all they should care about is their own economics and kind of adopting to the new paradigm of economics where they don't license the in-game items, they sell them. Okay, so it's going to just become a new kind of game environment.
We absolutely love chatting with you, and it blows our mind every time we do, Aleksandar. I'm not going to lie. We've had some internal chats and we've thought, he is absolutely, an absolute wizard in the space, and we just were dying to get you on this. So yeah, we've put some feelers out to some of our Pluto fans. That's what we like to call them, Plutonauts, and they've asked us a couple of questions for you. The first one is basically about your roadmap. We want to know, what's in the works now. How close are you to projects being ready for people to see?
When we talk about roadmap, everybody thinks about future, okay? And that's the way people are accustomed in the blockchain space. I like to talk about past. So okay. I like to, usually I'm future-oriented person, but here, in this case, I like to talk about what we already built and have. Okay, we had a live testnet ever since August last year that was released in scope of Kusama, the first hackathon in the space. And in scope of that, we kind of released most of our features for the chain. And among other things, just to demonstrate what we have done, we made a small game called it Substrapunks, which substrate punks, as a tribute to original CryptoPunks. We made 10,000 Substrapunks, okay? And we released that, and that thing was picked up so well by the community. It was just awesome. We never expected that. We just built it as a demo for the hackathon, so people can play with the chain, see that it works. But then people really picked it up, and a few months after, we saw that there is really kind of deep interest in them. So we took and made a marketplace. We made a bridge to Kusama, which is a real network with real economic value to the tune of a few $1 billion. And we made a marketplace where people can safely and trustlessly trade those punks. That marketplace was so successful, we were kind of completely amazed. People just kind of started talking about us as, Substrapunk guys and, Substrapunk marketplace guys. So we took that one step further. We understood how important it is for the ecosystem. So we built a suite of tools that includes a wallet, minting solution, gallery, and marketplace that we offer to anybody in white label mode, free of charge. So anybody who wants to have a marketplace, some kind of art gallery or some kind of NFT gallery, or needs those components for a game, they are available on Unique, free of charge, just take and go. Yeah. The blockchain piece has been handled. And then, so that is our first kind of step of commitment to building the ecosystem of innovators. What this suite does is what can be done today in NFT space. And then what we want is to attract a lot of innovators to the space. And we have, in our tech paper, we have a list of, I don't know how many, few dozen really cool features that we want to build. Just a few of them we've built already, like refungibility, for example, which we support also natively. So you don't need a DAO, you don't need smart contracts. You just print out the NFT as a refungible. That's it, end it out. But there are features like that, like different formats, different relationships between NFTs. There's a team that started off on Kusama, Canaria Network, Canaria app built by the Remark team. It's just awesome. They were the first to build basically nested NFTs. Which own other NFTs, and check this out. They can send emoticons to other NFTs, and send them love, send them kisses, or send them anger or whatever, and that makes the other NFTs more valuable. Okay, that gives them that gives them the value of that transaction fee or whatever, which is awesome. This is kind of the beginning of the innovation we intend to encourage. So we have a few dozen of those kinds of features we have planned to support natively. And the way we want to develop the roadmap is not by us telling you, okay, we'll have that in September, and this is later on our roadmap, we'll have it in spring next year. But rather, what we want to do is we want to attract and invite innovators in the NFT space, games, artists, or other kind of use cases, have them come to us and say, we need this, and we will help them develop that, or we will develop it for them, at least the blockchain piece. And this way, we create our roadmap by helping others build solutions on top. So that's our kind of little bit different approach to roadmap, as I see it.
Wow, that's amazing.
And just one other thing, just to speak to Substrapunks, because that's such a fun project, that you gave, like, just for the viewers at home, you gave them away for free, just like old school crypto, likening to the quote unquote early days of NFTs where you could get things for free. And then a market was literally, there was no marketing. You didn't put, there was nothing. And it just, the market kind of blew up.
Indeed. And I really love them because of that, because it is a sign of, it is a market sign. We really kept it that way on purpose because we did not want to spoil it with any commercial interest of our own, or any kind of, we wanted to see how the community reacts to those kinds of things. So
we're super impressed with the size and capabilities of your team, and you briefly touched upon it just before. So could you just expand a little bit more on your team?
Well, we have an absolutely wonderful CTO who's kind of the brains behind the whole thing, actually. He has built all this. He has made this possible. The tech team that has grown to 12 people today. And then we started onboarding a marketing team and the kind of community building, the developer relationships kind of part of the team. And we also have a number of people who are helping us community management and marketing. That's the latest thing. We have engaged probably what I hope is the most professional, best marketing agency out there.
How can our fans and how can your fans keep track of what's going on next? Where's best to get the updates from you? Is it a Medium post? Is it Twitter? What would you recommend is the best form of
at the moment? It's our Telegram channel. It's available via our website, so uniquenetwork.io, and there's a Telegram channel. It has been the most professional and kind of wonderful Telegram group I've seen around. We don't yet have a token, so nobody's asking about token price.
So in terms of kind of what you think the exact problems you're solving for within the NFT ecosystem, what limitations you're freeing up with your project, could you speak more to that?
Sure. First, let me start with a few kind of statements of our views. We believe that the boom of NFTs we were seeing earlier this year is just the beginning. It's just the first baby steps in the world that will become much bigger. NFTs are the way to tokenize unique assets, any unique assets, whether digital or real, and we are only beginning to tackle that problem. What we have, a second important thing to note is that the infrastructure we have today, it was not built for NFTs in mind, okay? Neither was Bitcoin with the colored coins or counterparty. Neither is Ethereum, which is very popular and good for many use cases. But because of that, it is taken over by the most valuable use cases like DeFi. NFTs are use cases which walk around, are built around unique assets, okay? So fungible tokens are, when you put them in the mix together with fungible tokens, fungible will always win because technologically they're much easier to scale than non-fungible tokens are. I give here a very good parallel of Web 1 and Web 2. in Web 1, we had static web pages that were good to put up some fixed articles or kind of sell books and so on. But then when Web 2 came along with the power of simply technology and protocols in place, you can build, that allowed a lot of powerful software to be built, like Facebook can personalize the content that is given back. And this is a good example because that's what unique assets require. They need personalization of technology. And that one is always, needs to be much more powerful than for databases that are kind of flat, that are have structured data and so on. So, what we have as problems today is that the infrastructure we have in place is not built for unique asset classes. It's built for fungible asset classes, and it does not simply have either the power or the flexibility to customize things around each and every unique asset. And that then in itself gives birth to all the other problems of scalability, of transaction fee problems, of the very narrow target market that you can address with it. The NFTs are cool. Everybody likes them. They're a product for the mass audiences, okay? Everybody plays games. Everybody watches basketball. A lot of people watch basketball and so on. So it is a mass audience product, but blockchain isn't. Blockchain is hard for people to grasp. Private keys, wallets, all that stuff. So you need a technology that can abstract out some of the cornerstones of blockchain technology, and that is spam prevention by transaction fees, for example. You need to circumvent that in order to appeal to the mass audience. So those are some of the kind of most important problems that I think we face today. I think that the transaction fee costs are only the tip of the iceberg. They are just the reflection of everything else that's underneath.
No, it's been really, really great to have you on. Thank you so much for joining. And thank you, Pluto Nauts, for watching. We'll be back with more stories soon.
Definitely give us a like and a share.
And subscribe.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Thanks,
Beautiful.
guys.
Thanks so much.